I was very scared for her at first because she's coming to a different country by herself. Lay down some roots, finish your, get into your degree.
I love it here. I ended up really like hitting my stride, and it's the best decision I ever made. When you first arrived at Incheon Airport, how was your experience?
It was good.
Because you work at the airport, right?
I do.
So how do you feel like Incheon compared to...
Massive compared to one that I'm used to.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Huge. Our particular airport is small. It's like a real small, it's not as huge.
Yeah,
airport.
And they don't have like the giant arts, you know what I'm saying? Like the digital art stuff. They don't really have... How long was the flight?
13 and a half hours.
Never easy. And it doesn't get easier either.
I was squirming a little bit, but I was all right.
She got stopped in Dallas and had to end up spending an entire day there again before she could get on the flight. So your total trip time was like 30-something hours.
30-some hours, yeah.
So has there been anything that surprised you since you've come? On the way in, and when we were in the bus, you were telling me that you were surprised by the landscape.
Yes, amazed. As far as flying in, looking out, the water and the little islands, it was just beautiful, breathtaking to me. It's just very clean. There's clean.
It was very clean. What are you expecting before you came?
I honestly don't know. It was a big surprise, actually.
I feel like you've seen a lot from my stories and stuff.
I have. People you know. Everybody seems to be really nice.
Everybody is very nice. I think a lot of people like that I've talked to, they don't expect Korea to be as developed as it is, which I think is crazy. Like when I talk to some of my friends, they're like, wow, they have McDonald's? I'm like, yes. Like, yes.
I mean, it's not 19, what, 20?
Exactly. But some people don't expect it to be as like artistic or
it's
as...
it's very artistic.
Yeah, like even the place we're in now, this is really cool. What's been your favorite part so far? In the day and a half that you've been here?
Just seeing everything, just being amazed.
Just being here.
Yes, just being here in general. I'm still in awe.
Is there anything you're looking forward to?
Maybe seeing some of the nightlife.
Ooh, Mom wants to go out, guys.
Going out with my daughter. Seeing Korea at night. We haven't done that yet. So.
I will say the nightlife culture here is definitely different. It does depend on where we go. Like we're gonna go to Itaewon. It's gonna feel a lot more like the States, like just because there's a lot of different types of people.
Well, I know you kind of break it down like Gangnam. Yes.
Gangnam
would be more like New York City, Times Square.
Like Times Square, and then
Itaewon.
Itaewon feels more like Brooklyn, kind of. Yeah, more like
all the little the boroughs.
Yeah. When I'm explaining like Seoul to my friends, you can't just say it's like, oh, it's Seoul, because there's so many different parts. Like the neighborhoods, like Hongdae is wildly different than Apgujeong, and then Gangnam is really different than Itaewon, and they're all different from Jamsil. So like you have to kind of break it up. But I've broken it up based on the boroughs in New York City. That's for the American viewers who know what that means. And then tomorrow we're going to Busan.
And I'm sure the trip tomorrow is going to be just as amazing.
We're catching a train to Busan because she saw the movie. So now she was like, we have to take a train to Busan. And I was like, I was gonna fly, but there's a big difference between like Busan and Seoul. Like the energy is different. Seoul is like New York, like I said, and then Busan is like LA.
Oh.
Yeah.
2023년 7월 1일부터 2일 양일간 부산 다대포 해수욕장에서 클럽지 라이브 K 페스티벌이 열립니다. 2030 월드 엑스포 부산의 유치를 응원하는 본행사는 부산 다대포 해수욕장과 메타버스 플랫폼에서 동시 개최되는데요. 행사 시작일인 1일차에는 나만이 플러스 DJ 소단, 트리플 S와 국내 정상의 K-힙합 아티스트들이 화려한 공연을 펼칠 예정이며 2일차에는 춤을 사랑하는 그 누구라도 도전 가능한 댄스 경연대회가 열립니다. 유튜브 1300만 구독자를 자랑하는 DJ맨 스테파니나가 심사위원으로 참여하는데요. 댄스 경연대회 총 상금은 무려 1억 원이라고 하니 많은 참여 부탁드립니다. 투표 및 심사는 글로벌 커뮤니티 플랫폼인 모모보드를 통해 진행되는데요. 다채로운 이벤트가 꾸며질 예정이라고 하니 자세한 내용은 고정 댓글 링크를 참고해주세요. 화려한 공연과 경연대회, 메타버스, 3D 미디어까지 한 번에 즐기실 수 있는 클럽지 라이브 K 페스티벌 부산뿐만 아니라 오는 8월부터 프로모션 투어도 진행될 예정이니 티켓을 구매하고 싶으신 분들은 고정 댓글 확인해주세요. 성공적인 2030 부산 세계박람회 유치를 위해 전 국민이 하나된 마음으로 응원해주시길 부탁드립니다.
I'll show you everything.
She'll show me everything.
I think my favorite area for you to visit will probably be Itaewon because I think it'll be the most comfortable. You're very unfamiliar with the language and stuff, but also that's where all my friends are. And I spend a lot of my time there too, but I'm going to take you the whole way. We're going to start at the tower. We're going to walk through Noksapyeong. I've already set it up.
Going to the tower.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
Itaewon just has a lot. It has a lot of like history and rich culture. So I think you'll
I'd
like
like
that
to see
part a
the
lot.
palaces too. I think those would be really
Yeah,
nice.
and that's a different thing. Like that's something that like New York City, for example, doesn't have. They don't have like the historical aspect of it that Seoul does. So I came to Korea in February of 2021, but everyone's always like, why did you come to Korea? Like what's up with that? It was really random. So originally I was studying medicine. I was pre-med focused in rehabilitation. So I have an exercise science and physiology degree. Typically, like the trajectory when you're on a medical path is very linear. Like you get the degree, you go to grad school, you do residency, and then after that, you know, you're in a hospital and you're working. So typically, it's just a very linear path, but you don't really finish all of it until you're like mid-20s. And then by that time, like I knew I wanted to like have a family and settle down. So it just felt like I was always like looking at what my future was going to be, and I just knew what everything was supposed to be. But then in my junior year in college, I got in a really, really bad accident, and I had brain surgery 2 times. Kind of changed my perspective on a lot of things after the accident. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very rough time.
It was a rough time, but I think it helped me a lot. It shaped me to be who I am now, and kind of changed my perspective on things. I knew that wasn't what I wanted anymore, at least not yet. I knew that I wanted to travel the world. I knew I wanted to experience more life while I was young. I didn't want to wait until after grad school. I didn't want to wait until I had a family to travel. I just wanted to do it like now. How can I go abroad? And it was too late for me to study abroad because typically people in college do that during their junior year. But by this time, after I recovered and everything, I was in my senior year of college. So I was like, okay, well, how can I work abroad? But her name's Adrienne, and she had moved here. So I immediately reached out to her and I was like, hey, you know, I had this really crazy thing happen and I want to live my life and I want to move abroad and I want to see the world. Should I come to Korea? And she was just like, absolutely. She was like, I think you would thrive here. I think you would love it. You know what? Okay, like I'm gonna do it. Like, why not? Like, because I could spend my whole life wondering what if, go for it. I told Dad separately because I was most terrified of his reaction.
I mean, I was all for you doing whatever your life pursuits have always been.
Yeah,
So
you guys were always very supportive. But I do remember I sat Dad down at like a nice dinner and I was like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm moving to Korea. And he was like, what? No, anyways, so it worked out. My family was very supportive. Everybody, I think, was hesitant at first because I was the only person in my family to go abroad or do something like this. So I think everyone was a little bit skeptical. But once I got here and it started to work out, things changed. And originally I was only supposed to be here for 6 months, and that quickly became like 2 years.
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years. It'll be 3, 4, maybe. I love it here. I ended up really like hitting my stride, and it's the best decision I ever made.
I was scared. I had
yeah,
stress.
you guys do.
Maybe you should come home, lay down some roots, finish your, get into your degree.
She wants me to get married and have kids.
That's what I meant, like just plant some roots, basically.
Yeah.
I was very scared for her at first because she's coming to a different country by herself. She's young.
21.
I have watched her grow and become who she is. Very strong, independent individual. So support her 100% on whatever she decides to continue to do. I miss my daughter a lot. I love her very much. Like I said, I'm supportive on whatever she decides to do.
Yeah.
I'm always going to be protective in some way.
The reason I don't come back and just continue and become a doctor, because I do still want to do that, but I don't see a time limit on that opportunity.
No,
but my opportunity here does have a time limit. It's always changing and moving quickly. But I feel like if I went home right now, I wouldn't be able to pursue the more artistic stuff that I want to do. Being here, the connections that I've made and the network that I've built, my opportunities are a lot stronger. Yeah, so that's why I don't come home right away.
I know. But like I said, I miss you a lot when you're not home.
I miss home a lot though. Like Thanksgiving and like Christmas and stuff, I have to be home for that because I just miss like the culture that our family had, like the barbecues in the backyard, like, and especially like 4th of July, we would spend it at Grandma and Grandpa's house, hanging out with you and Dad, and like, yeah, so I miss it too.
I'm here right now.
Yeah, you are here right now.
I'm happy.
You're in Korea now.
So I mean,
I've never asked
I
you
mean, everybody miss you just because you're just bubbly, but she's, how's Shannon? What is she doing?
So the end of my first year in Korea, we lost Grandma and Grandpa. within a week of each other, and I was here, so it was really, really hard because my whole family is dealing with this crazy loss, and I am too. But I couldn't be there to support them, and then I was here by myself, so you guys couldn't help me. So it was definitely one of the hardest things I've ever been through, and it's because I was away that it felt so much harder.
I know.
But it is, right? Like, life doesn't ask us what we want, hey?
No,
Yeah,
it doesn't.
you just gotta roll with the punches.
Oh, it's amazing. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think. It's just amazing. It's beautiful.
I'm taking you all over the world, girl. We
That's
started
fine.
in Gangnam, then we're coming to Seongsu for filming, and now we're going to Hongdae for the studio, and then we're gonna go to Itaewon for tonight.
Okay.
I feel like 아저씨.
Oh my God.
Like, all right, let's go.
Change that plane ticket. I don't know if I can change the plane ticket.